work, and it is sending now. And
Hello, everybody. I see we're loading in. Happy Win with Black Women Sunday.
now,
I see we're loading everybody in. I see all the hearts. I see raised hands. I think we're just all loading in. It's going up, 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 up. We're about to hit 3,000 on this call tonight. Super excited. We've got a lot of amazing special guests that are joining us tonight. We're super excited. So we're just going to let you all load in and we'll give it just 1 minute before we get started. And while we're doing that, I will do the traditional welcome. I am Joteka Edie. For those of you all that are joining for the very first time, this is our Sunday Win with Black Women call, and we want to welcome all of you that are with us tonight, that have been with us for the last 4 years, and for those of you who are joining us for the first time, or you recently started joining us. And we are so happy to also welcome so many of our friends that are joining us as well. Well, for those of you who are new, I want to just share a little bit more about us. And for those of you who's been with us for 4 years, you know we say this every Sunday. Win with Black Women is a collective of Black women leaders from across the country. We started coming together 4 years ago around our collective concern, around the narrative as it related to who was going to be the next Vice President of the United States. From there on, we decided to follow the leadership of Black women organizations and Black women who had long been advocating for there to be a Black woman at the top of the ticket. And we decided to support and gather around those efforts to claim that it was time. And so we did so. And as a result, we were all together happy to celebrate the ascension of the nation's first Black woman vice president. But we didn't stop there. We continued to work in coalition around 3 very important goals. Number 1, speaking out against racism and sexism as it related to Black women anywhere we saw it, whether it was in the political narrative, entertainment, or sports. Number 2, working in our individual capacities to elect Black women up and down the ballot, whether or not she was running for city council, school board, or president of the United States. And number 3, working to elevate the power and the positive image of Black women, and particularly that of Black women-led organizations. And so for the last 4 years, we have been working around those 3 goals. And we've done a lot of great work together, whether it's been our work following the leadership of our sisters at the WNBA Players Association and calling for this administration to find a solution to bring our sister Brittany Griner home. And we're so happy that BG is home. Or whether it was our collective work in partnership with Black women-led organizations to stand up and call for not only the nomination, but the confirmation of the nation's first Black woman on the U.S. Supreme Court, or whether it's our work to ensure Dr. Lisa Cook, who is the nation's first Black woman to be on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors in this country, which has so much impact on the economy. That is the work that we've been doing. But we've also done work in other areas, whether or not that work has been to support Black women authors and Black women showrunners and Black women who have been leading on our narrative. And that's been our work, like supporting Origin, Ava DuVernay's groundbreaking film, or 100 theater buyout for The Little Mermaid, to show Hollywood and all of America that representation does matter. And we've done so much work in between, and it has been powered by Black women across this country, working in partnership and coalition, and often in our personal capacities. Here at Win with Black Women, we open in the spirit and we close in the spirit. And we're going to do that tonight. A few things for you to note. The chat is open, so you can utilize the chat, and we want you to make sure that you are finding in the chat box information and resources and tools. But also equally as important are the resource link that you'll find at the bottom of your screen, where all of the resources and everything that you will find will be in the resource link. That's so, so, so important. And then also the Q&A link. We want you to use the Q&A to ask questions, and we have a team of volunteers who will try to answer as many questions as possible. With that, welcome to Win with Black Women. We encourage you, text your girlfriends, text your friends, tell them that they can join us by registering and getting on this call tonight, and let someone know, #Win with Black Women, tweet it out. I am so honored now to yield the Win with Black Women stage over to a wonderful soul who will open us in the spirit tonight, Patricia Williams. Let's welcome Sister Patricia Williams.
Thank you, Sister Joteka. Let us now be still and prepare ourselves for prayer and meditation. Father, Mother God, maker and creator of all things good. As truth seekers and those encouraged to lead, we thank you for inviting each of us to this pivotal moment in our lives, in our country, and really in the world. This is the occasion, this is the time, and this is that moment. My sisters, as we gather here this evening, in gratitude and knowing, affirming that our good is already manifest, our hearts are open vessels to receive and actionize through us the Creator's divine ideas. We are able, we are willing, and we are ready to do what is ours to do, to answer the highest calling, to move in the direction of our good, and to stand in the gap and hold strong the line. We affirm that we are guided and inspired at every step by those who built the pathways with which we walk, ushering in new narratives shaped to their purpose. We invoke some of the countless sister pioneers on whose shoulders we stand. Sister Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Dr. Dorothy Height, Constance Baker Motley, Fannie Lou Hamer, Shirley Chisholm, Nannie Helen Burroughs, Dr. Betty Shabazz, Coretta Scott King, Mary Church Terrell, Daisy Bates, and Ida B. Wells Barnett. The prayer of protection reminds us that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is profoundly well. We, my sisters, affirm that we are winning. We are winning. We are winning. The victory is won. And so it is. Amen.
And so it is. Amen. And as Soror Dr. Janetta Besh Cole, my good Soror Patricia Williams, she would say, an A-woman. What a powerful word to open us up. Sisters, we're going to keep moving right along on the agenda, and we will bring to you, I know on the agenda, we were going to have a highlight of Black women-led and Black women-centered organization, and we promise we're going to bring that to you, and we will move that to another week, but we'll look forward to hearing more about how you can be involved in Delta for Women in Action with Sister Rhonda Briggins. We're going to keep moving to get an update from our good sister, Rachel Norlander, who keeps us in the press. Let me first say, I hope you can get on social media. Please find Rachel on Instagram, on X/Twitter, TikTok, and let's give her a big Win with Black Women congratulations, because tonight, at Harlem Fashion Week, she is being honored along with some amazing sisters. But Rachel, being Rachel, wanted to make sure that she brought a great report to us. So we're going to roll a report from Rachel that she taped for us. And we do understand the technical difficulty, and our tech team is working to replay the video so that you can all hear the beautiful sound. Sorry about that. And thanks for the grace. So while we're waiting to make sure that we can bring you Rachel's full report, we will keep moving along with the agenda. And we are super excited to share that we will have an update from Star Jones tonight. And she actually, I believe, sent us a graphic, but she is planning to join us. She is flying right now. And as soon as Star is on, she wanted to come on and speak with us. But in the interim, I do believe that we have a graphic that we will show from Star Jones. I can see you all in the chat with all of your comments. Yes, in order to do this, it's always grace and love. And our tech team is 100% volunteer, and everybody's doing the best that they can. And so we're just waiting to get all of this loaded so that we can give you the best that we can. So we thank you for your love and your grace as we await for the graphic from Star Jones. And I see we have Oakland in the house. I see Indiana. The chat goes really fast. It's so hard to try to keep up with all of the chats that we have, but I see Dallas in the house. I see Michigan in the house, Connecticut, San Francisco. I can read really, really fast while we're waiting for these graphics to come up. Philly is in the house, Georgia, DC, Vegas. Y'all are really not, now y'all are like messing with me now, right? Maryland's in the house, Chicago. I'm really good at this, you guys. I can read really, really fast. Little Rock's in the house, Alabama, Baton Rouge, Philly, Jersey, Pennsylvania, Florida, White Plains, St. Louis, New York City, Minneapolis. It's a lot of you all in the chat tonight. I know you all are probably super excited. Oh, Florence, South Carolina is in the house. Y'all know I'm a good girl from South Carolina. Mitchellville is in the house. There's a lot of you all. There are 4,000 of us on this call tonight, and we are always so grateful for everybody that is participating on Win with Black Women calls on any given Sunday. We are representing all across the country. I know we have Hawaii in the house because I know Dr. Helen Stewart is probably out there listening as well. Shelby County and so many others are on the call. We're going to keep moving. Oh, there we are. Perfectly timed. And we promise that we will keep all of these things moving for you all. But Star Jones wanted us to share with you the Brown Girls Fundraising Collective and the update that we have here. Most importantly, we have raised collectively over $2.5 million. There has been more than 20,000 contributions coming from nearly 19,000 people. On average, the contribution has been $118. And this is so important because what it talks about is the possibility and the power of small dollar donors. You don't have to give $1,000 or $3,000 or the maximum amount that you could give in a campaign, whether or not it is for the Harris Waltz campaign or a Senate campaign or a local election. Just giving is a show that we are investing, and sometimes you don't have the ability to give money, and your time is equally as important, is an equally important treasure. So when Star Jones is able to join us, we'll be sure to make sure that we bring her up to say hello to everybody. But she wanted us to just see the power of what we have been doing as Brown girls. And also, Star wanted us to make sure that we were shouting out all of the women that had signed up to learn more about the ability to fundraise, and also making sure that we are fundraising and making sure that we have more Black women represented on finance committees and in this sphere of political organizing. So shout out to our good sister Star Jones for what she's been doing as the leader of Women Black Women's fundraising efforts and all the work that you're doing. It is so very powerful. Well, sisters, we're going to keep moving right along on our agenda for tonight. Thank you all so much for everything that you have been doing and building. And we are now going to transition our call to have much more of a political conversation where we will speak very freely and openly about our support of Vice President Kamala Harris to be the next president of the United States. And we will have a weekly inspiration and a special video as we transition into that moment.
Good afternoon, sisters. I'm so sorry.
I'm going to go to Rachel's video before the transition, if that's okay, Joteka.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. Oh, and I'm on mute. Classic Zoom. I apologize. There's a glitch in the Zoom, so we can't play any videos right now. I'm going to go repair that and we can transition. I guess I'm the break. I'm the magical break.
Well, thank you all so much. So we all have transition tech issues. We promise we'll get it together. So we're going to transition. If I was in a good mood, I in the mood of singing, I would sing for y'all, but I am not the one to sing for you all. Maybe one of our guests that we have, because we have some very talented guests. So we are going to transition into a more partisan part of our conversation, where we're going to speak more definitively about the election and our unfettered support for Vice President Kamala Harris. I am so excited for us to have this very next special guest who are joining us tonight. She is no other than New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor Wade, who is also doing a lot of amazing work in her capacity, working with secretaries of state, her past work across the country. We're so excited to have her. Hi, Lieutenant Governor. It's so good to have you here with us tonight. First of all, welcome to Win with Black Women. Shout out to New Jersey, but most importantly, shout out to you and everything that you are doing in your leadership in the state of New Jersey, but also in this country as it relates to making sure that those who are most responsible for elections are doing what they know they should be doing. So first of all, welcome. We wanted you to just greet this audience of nearly 4,500 people. And then want to hear more about what you are seeing, particularly as it relates to what we should know as it relates to our voter registration and what we should be aware of, not only as Black women, but as key messengers in our communities. Welcome.
Amen to that, Joteka. And good evening, ladies. I want to shout everyone out, and especially Joteka, you and your founders of Win with Black Women. Y'all truly rock, okay? Because we all speak about Shirley Chisholm telling us to take our rightful place at the table, even if we must bring our folding chairs, right? But Win with Black Women has created a grand table to lift up Black women in all spaces. So we truly thank you. And now I don't have to repeat because we all understand that this is indeed the most consequential election of our time, with so many rights on the ballot. And we want to just ensure that positive future for our kids, namely our girls, which is at stake. Now, my sisters, I am New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor, and I also double down and serve as New Jersey's Secretary of State. But of course, I'm here in my personal capacity, and I just want to first lift up what a tremendous point of pride for me personally. About a week ago, when in my official capacity, I signed a certification to place the vice president on the ballot in New Jersey to run for the highest office in this nation. Now, what's going on in the ground? We know there's an assignment that we all must galvanize folk to the ballot box, and we all feel the energy around us. But we all also must be aware that there are domestic and international threats on the ground that can cause chaos. So we all have to have our hands on the deck so that we can fiercely guard our right to vote. And I am humbly asking each and every one of you to understand the next assignment, which means that we all must be informed and educated voters. And I'm not just talking about learning about the issues. I am talking about the simple baseline of how your state's elections work. One, Joteka mentioned voter registration. Please know your state's deadline. Also know that September 17th is National Voter Registration Day. Now, I humbly ask an act of just contacting at a minimum 5 people, and of course more, and to ask them, are you registered? If not, for them to go to their respective state's website to register. But I am also asking that each and every one of us, our friends, our neighbors, our family members, please check your voter registration. Sometimes we think that we are active voters, and in fact, we may not be, given we haven't voted in several federal elections. And we don't want you to be a voter going to your respective polling location and then learning you are inactive. 2, become familiar with whoever your local election officials are. Understand their different responsibilities. Who is the election official in your town, in your county? Who handles absentee? or as they're called in other states, vote by mail ballots. Who are the election officials who select the various polling sites? And speaking of absentee or vote by mail ballots, which should be going out soon, there are 4 simple words you can let your friends, neighbors know to complete them accurately. Because with this election, we want to have as much accuracy in our votes than no other. Simple: vote, sign, seal, return. Specifically signing that ballot and making certain when you sign that it is the same signature that you use when you are registering to vote. I know that my signature has changed throughout the years, so I have to go back in my inner recesses of my brain and recall how I signed my voter registration so no one could ever question. And also understand if your state cures signatures on ballots. Please make a note of that because not every state does that. Now, you may also be hearing the words of mis and disinformation. And my friends, this is a serious threat that is going around. No matter if the information you receive or saw or seen is innocently spread or is of a malicious intent. Getting and sharing fake information can be seen as a form of voter suppression. By way of example, receiving a text message 2 days before November the 5th, which is giving you a different polling location to go to. That's not a good thing. We want to make certain that voters feel confident in this information. We want to make certain that voters understand, because there may be others shouting from the mountaintop that there is election fraud causing chaos, but there's no evidence of any widespread voter fraud. And in fact, everyone should know that there is local, state, and federal agencies that are working collaboratively 365 days, 24/7 to ensure that there is election integrity, not only in our infrastructure, but in our results. A good website to refer to, which has all of the state's voting information, y'all, is canivote.org. And then one of the last things I truly want to lift up, part of us being a good citizen is making certain that we continue that legacy of our ancestors, how they fiercely fought and some died to cast that ballot. But at the same time, part of this is just becoming a poll worker. It is a point of personal pride for me too, that the longest consecutive serving, I should say, for 79 years poll worker in these United States of America, a shero of mine hails from New Jersey, and her name is Laura Wooten. She was an ordinary woman, a strong Black woman. Just think about this. Someone who wanted to be part of democracy and make sure that folk could cast their ballot at the age of 18. And further think about how she did this even during the civil rights era. Phenomenal. So if a Laura Wooten could do it, all of us can do it. Simply amazing, of an ordinary person who could see that extraordinary things can happen in our democracy. For me, elections is truly a team sport, and the fate of our democracy relies upon us all coming collectively together This is a special moment in time. And the other thing that I would want to close out with is because we know our assignment. We know who we ultimately know who should be our next president. But we also should realize that every single election matters. I'm talking about if you have fire district races, if you have school board races, which we all do, all local races help because throughout a governmental process, from the top even to the bottom, we all need each other and we would want to work together. I wish everyone many blessings. I know the assignment is going to be reached. And remember, let's vote, but let's also be informed as we vote. Thank you, Jateka.
Well, Lieutenant Governor Wade, you know, we cannot let you go because that was just so informative. Sister Donna Brazil was like, yes, yes, yes. All the sisters in the chat. There was a sister in the chat and she said something, and I want to ask you about it because I think it's helpful for you to provide context. She said, I was purged from the rolls in Alabama from the very place, and I had been voting for 10 years. I had to file a provisional ballot and it wasn't counted. Could you speak to what's happening across the country as it relates to people being purged from the rolls and what people can be doing to prevent from an issue on election day of having to file that provisional ballot?
Yes. Now again, one state, right? And that is why it is September 8th, if my memory is correct. And this is the reason why everyone needs to right now check their voter registration. And this is something that even if you feel as though I don't want to get on the phone, I got to know who I need to speak with, this is a time to go to your board of elections. And I'm only speaking about New Jersey because that's who handles voter registration. It's true. You can actually get taken off voting rolls, right? If you have not voted in several federal elections. You can get taken off voter rolls if you have moved and perhaps there's a mismatch of addresses. So the one thing we all want to do right now as we're galvanizing folk to get out there to vote, National Voter Registration Day is coming up. You just want to make sure that you check that voter registration. Now, speaking of provisional ballots, if you are asked to complete a provisional ballot, right? Please do not get upset to the extent that ultimately you're going to immediately feel like a provisional ballot. My vote is not going to get counted because provisional ballots are supposed to cross-verify whether you have voted so that there won't be any duplicate votes, in other words, okay? I should have also mentioned that some states have the Track My Ballot for the vote by mails to give voters the assurance that their ballots have been received too. But again, please be very familiar with your local election officials, their responsibilities. Take this serious. Any questions you have, the caller from Alabama, this is a good time to check with your election officials right now, tomorrow morning, and ensure that everything is accurate so that you will not come into any difficulties. And the one other thing that I would like to note, Jateka, if I may, I would also like to note that I know in New Jersey, we really, I think it was 2021, that's when we started in-person early voting. I can't speak about other states, but in-person early voting is another good way so that you on November the 5th, and by no means, I'm not advising anyone how to vote, but at least you have more of an opportunity to go into a voting precinct, polling location, and there may not be as many folk there. So if you also have questions, and this is before the November 5th date, right, you could potentially handle and resolve your questions.
Very, very helpful, Lieutenant Governor. This is so helpful. And as the Lieutenant Governor shared, there's so many websites that we can go to. Vote.org, a website that we all know and trust, which is led by a good sister who is a Win with Black Women sister, Andrea Haley. You can go there to check your voter registration status. You can also go there to get verified. A sister in the chat said she just went there and verified her voter registration, and it was very easy. As the Lieutenant Governor said, you could go to naacp.org/canIvote. You could go to iwillvote.org. There are lots of When We All Vote. There are lots of places where you can go. If it's hard for you to remember, vote.org is a very easy place to go to ensure that you are checking your voter registration status. We cannot stress the importance of what the Lieutenant Governor just shared for us to take this very seriously. It's so important to make sure that we are registering new voters, but we are making sure that the voters that are registered, who may not have recently voted or who may have just recently voted, that everything is in order, because we want to eliminate as much as possible getting to the ballot, to the precinct on election day and having to go back and fill out extra paperwork or verification. We want to eliminate that. But as the Lieutenant Governor said, if that does happen, just follow whatever instructions so that we can make sure that your ballot is counted. Lieutenant Governor, we are just honored to have women and sisters like you at the helm that cares about democracy for us all and making sure that we have very good information. New Jersey is blessed to have a leader in you that is doing what a lot of Black women, what we all do. We carrying two jobs. You the Secretary of State and the Lieutenant Governor all at the same time, and you're doing it with grace and with love and so much power, and we are grateful. We ask that you please just drop in the chat. We'll make sure we put it in the resource, but information on how we can follow you, how we can get information. But I think the most important aspect of what has been said to every single body here is to make sure you get your own voting plan. Go to vote.org, check and register yourself and verify your voter registration, and go to no fewer than 5 people. You heard the action here, no fewer than 5 people, and make sure that they are doing the same. Lieutenant Governor, you are always welcome here at Win with Black Women. We appreciate this very sage advice that you have shared with us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sisters, we're going to keep moving right along on our agenda, and we are super excited for this very exciting sisterhood moment. And this panel, you probably have seen it on our social media. We are excited to bring to the Win with Black Women stage singer, songwriter, actress, and advocate, Jordan Sparks. And let me say, it's Jordan with an I. Let's make sure that we're getting her name correct. We're so excited to invite her to the Win with Black Women stage, psychiatrist, healer, advocate, Dr. Tima Bryant, who is someone that we all know, and we love all of these women. And then finally, entertainment executive, advocate, the one and only Stacey Walker King. Welcome to the stage, everybody. There they all are coming up on stage. This is so beautiful. This is one of my favorite moments here at Win with Black Women, when we're able to share the stage with all of these amazing Black women who are advocates, but they also are just blazing the trails in so many other areas. So first of all, welcome to Win with Black Women.
Yay! Thank you for having us.
Well, it's so great. And y'all all look so great. Just looking so fabulous. Just looking good on this Sunday night, feeling good. I just want to, first of all, this is just amazing. You all just represent such a cross sector of Black women that are just leading in every single area, whether or not you are, award-winning songwriter, actress, executive, making movies, getting our souls right and making sure that our minds and bodies are aligned. You all are all doing it. I'm going to start with you, Jordan. First of all, thank you so much. And you've been out there, you've been putting things out on social media and talking about this moment. And you're just such an integral part of our culture. First of all, tell us how you're feeling about this moment. You're on the call now with almost 5,000 Black women and friends that are here watching us tonight. How are you feeling about this moment as it relates to just our representation as Black women and as women in this moment? Oh, and I think you're on mute, Jordan.
There we go. Can you hear me? I was gonna say, it's a twofold answer because I don't think I've been in a space yet where I've been able to reach this many women who look like me and who are like, it's just so cool to be in this space. So thank you so much for having me. Shout out to Felicia Fent, who got me here. She asked me about it and I was like, I would love to be there. And then secondly, you said I'm a part of the culture and I kind of like got taken aback because it's been 17 years now at this point, and I'm just really grateful to still be here. I'm really grateful that people still want to know what I'm doing, want to hear my voice, want to hear me sing. And this moment for me, in terms of where I am in my life, I've really stepped into my power as a friend, a mother, a wife, a sister, a artist, a woman, a human. And I really feel like that's reflecting in all areas of my life as well, especially my music. So I'm really, really, really excited to be here to share with you guys. I have a new album coming out this Friday. It's called No Restrictions. I named it that because that's how I feel. I'm letting go of the balls and chains of other people's opinions. I'm letting go of people trying to put me into a box. I'm letting go of old, outdated versions of myself, and really stepping into who I am now. So I'm excited for you guys to meet me now, who I am now, but I'm really, really grateful to be here with you guys. That was a very long answer, so sorry.
Well, I think it's so amazing. And just the fact that the name of your new project, I think it's like, it just speaks volumes to how we feel right now as women in the world in terms of anything is possible. The world is what's before us. Like there's just no restrictions about the power of not only who we are, our ability to lead, but most importantly for the world to see us. I want to go to you next, Stacey, because you spend a lot of your time leading as a business executive in the entertainment industry, thinking about branding, but also creating powerful images. The company that, while you're here in your personal capacity, the company that you are aligned with has been behind some of the most powerful works of theatrical arts that represent our culture. How in this moment, as someone who thinks so much about brand and story, do you think it is for us to be in this critical moment, lifting up the story of this very capable and powerful, proven leader that is Vice President Kamala Harris?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, Joteka, I just want to thank you so much for even inviting me to be in this company of amazing women. And just, having followed Win with Black Women and being a part of it, I'm just I feel so honored and blessed to be your friend and to see what an impact you're making. So thank you so much, you and the entire team at Win with Black Women, for what you've been doing for the past 4 years. So when I think about just when you're talking about like how important for us to see this moment, I just think of, with our company, Macro, and we launched this to provide a space for us to be able to tell our stories and not have others to tell it for us. For us to have like, an accurate and a full representation of the spectrum of who we are. And so, I think that when we look at this, how powerful and how important that is, I can think back, and I would, encourage everyone on this call to think back to when you first saw yourself adequately, and appropriately reflected, and what that was for you. You saw possibility and hope and, aspiration, and seeing that. And so I think we're in that moment right now where we are seeing that with Kamala Harris. It really, directs us into where we want to be, what's possible, what it could be. And the other thing that I think about all the time is, if this was not as important, if your image was not as important, then why is the other side trying so hard to shrink Kamala Harris, to deny her excellence, to misname her, just to belittle her? There is a full effort, and we see it every single day, that, there is just a full, whole side of this spectrum that is doing everything in their power, not to fight her on the issues, but to take her personally and destroy that. So that alone, I think, just shows you how powerful and how important this is.
That's such an important, very important point that you raised, Stacey, because if it wasn't important, people would not try to tear it down. I want to come to you, Dr. Bryant, because your work is just so phenomenal as it relates to just our healing, our centering of who we are, and your life work is in that realm. One, how are you feeling in this moment, and what would you say to the nearly 5,000 Black women and our friends that are watching tonight, for us to just really ground and hold in this moment?
Yes, thank you so much, my sacred sister, and all who are gathered in this place. I am excited about Win with Black Women because we are continuing our legacy and holding on to what our foremothers taught us. It has been Black women who have come to the rescue time and time again. And so on tonight, I carry radical hope. Radical hope is when it's not just hope for me as an individual, but it is hope for the collective. As a liberation psychologist, as a trauma survivor, and as someone who works with trauma survivors, I'm excited on today because it means that Black and brown women are declaring that this nation will not be led by a rapist, by a misogynist, or by a supremacist. We are declaring as Black and brown women that not only does representation matter, but we are with VP Harris because equity matters, compassion matters, humanity matters, and self-determination matters. We are with VP Harris not just because representation matters, but because we recognize the need, the critical need for a revolutionary response during this time, where we will not be silenced by racism, by sexism, by classism, by heterosexism, by xenophobia. We have come with the clarity that we are not going back. And so when I see 5,000 sisters gathered here today, as well as those who support us, I'm ready to sing and shout and work and pray and donate and vote and vote and vote, and not be done on election day. After the election, we continued the work because we have to stand collectively in order for all of us to be free.
Well, our good sister Sid Marshall said sometimes it feels like church on a Sunday night.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We have gotten the message. Somebody say radical hope. Look at your neighbor and say radical hope. Text a chat chain and say radical hope. My sister, oh my goodness, radical hope. Well, before we go and before we wrap, I want to go right back around and if there was one word or a feeling that you are feeling in this moment right now that you want to share with all of our sisters that are here, a feeling, anything you want to share, however you want to bring it, I want you to share that. I'm going to start with you, Sister Stacey.
I'm going to say ready. Ready.
Ready. Ready. Dr. Bryant?
My word is movement. So we won't just go and vote for one, but up and down the line, we have to vote locally and nationally, federally, so that we can get the job done strategically. Movement.
Ready, movement. Jordan, you could close us out, my sister. Jordan, close us out. Whatever you're feeling, just let us know.
Mine's gonna be a little different, but I would say the word doors, because there's so many opening up for us now, and we can just continue to walk through them. And also we have to leave bags outside of the door because they won't fit through into the next chapter. So doors is the word for me.
Oh my goodness. This is so beautiful and so poetic. I'm just saying we ready for the movement because we're moving through all the open doors and we leaving the bags at the door because they can't necessarily fit because we're going to leave the bags at the door. We're going to walk through the doors. And as Donna Brazile would remind us, let's make sure that we take the hinges off those doors as we talk to. We done wrote us a song. Jordan, we're going to be sending you the song to add to the
Hey,
to the
I'll let you know when it's done, okay?
My sisters, thank you all so much. Such a powerful sisterhood moment. And we have a special treat of someone that we're going to bring up just to say hello. She is the true OG of Win with Black Women. She is our 92-year-old Dr. Hazel N. Dukes. I believe Dr. Janetta Besh Cole is also backstage. If she's able to come up, I think it'd be just so beautiful to hear from these beautiful souls who keep us grounded and keep us a reminder of really the shoulders of which we all stand on. Mama Dukes is there, 92 years old, not missing a beat with us. Mama Dukes, what do you think when you hear these young women tell us to stay ready, to focus on the movement and to walk through doors and leaving the baggage at the door? And I think you're we're gonna unmute you, Mama Duke, so that we can hear you. There you
Can
go.
can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
And my buddy of all these years, Dr. Coles, I think I heard you say that Donna was on tonight in the chat.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
all my other children. Let me tell you, I'm addicted. At 8:30, I start trying to get on here. And when I can't, I call Roz. Roz called Q. I can't miss it because for you young people, at my 92nd birthday, my pastor did an unusual thing. I didn't want a party. I wanted baton to pass here tonight, and those who were on the panel tonight. This gives me energy, gives me strength, and gives me faith in the God that I serve, that I have lived to see you young people take up the torch. And those of us who still present. It is such a wonderful, wonderful example of what we can do. And I tell you, children, praying every morning, noon, and night, God's going to fix it. He's going to fix this. And you all just keep going, because this will not be the
We believe Mama Dukes is sound.
for the world.
There she goes.
I wouldn't miss this for nothing.
Mm.
Mother Dukes, I believe that your sound, Mama Dukes, I believe that your sound was giving us a little reverberation. But you know what? The devil is busy, but he is alive, because I think we not only heard you, but more importantly, we all felt you. And we heard what you said to us, that you don't miss this. It means so much to you at 92 years old to be with us, to see all of the young women, all of us, those that are out there, all nearly 5,000 that are out here that continue to do this work and to continue to carry on what you and so many others like you, like Dr. Cole, has built. Dr. Cole, in this moment, how do you feel seeing all of these young women and the work that they are all doing?
My sisters, my sisters, my sisters. Good evening. And I find myself sitting here about to use a word that I hope you will understand. The word is privilege. You know, I've lived my 87 years. Mama Dukes, no matter what I do, I'm not going to catch up with you. But oh, what a joy it is to be in the same age grade with you, as our African folk would say. I've lived for 87 years with the privilege that white folk have, that men have, and therefore that we as Black women were denied. And of course our struggle continues against racism and sexism. But words do matter. And here I am tonight, just days before our amazing and grace-filled Shiro takes to that stage, commands it, and wins that debate. Just a matter of days before each of us will go to the polls and vote as if our lives depend on it, because they do. I feel privileged. I feel privileged. My God, thank you. I feel privileged to be alive at this moment in the history of our country and our world.
Wow, Dr. Cole, thank you so much for just coming and say hello to us and sharing. And Mother Dukes, and special thank you to Jordan Sparks, Dr. Tima Bryant, and Stacey Walker King. We are just so excited about what you just shared, which brings up our next guest, who we are always excited to have, is our Karen Finney, who keeps us on message to talk to us about the upcoming debate and the message that we all need to make sure that we're sharing around the country. Karen Finney, as we always say, Karen with the message. Over to you.
Hi, everybody. So Tuesday, we have a debate, and I hope you're as excited for it as I am. I expect that it's going to be quite something to behold. Look, I think one of the things we want to do, I mean, we're all excited for the vice president, but I think we want to remind people Donald J. Trump has done 7 presidential debates between primaries and general election. This will be the first time the vice president will be doing a presidential debate in the general election as the presidential candidate. Of course, she did one in 2020 with Mike Pence, but I think it's important we remind folks this is her first one. Let's not raise the, we don't need to be, we know she's going to do great, but we don't need to be, raising the stakes. I think we need to be reminding people, let's level the playing field here, right? One of the other things we know is that we know why Donald Trump's team was so adamant about not having hot mics. Who knows what he's going to say? I mean, if you think about it, if she goes and does just a good, solid performance, and he goes and does exactly what he did in the debate with President Biden, he's going to lose. Because the truth is, if you go back and take a look at just a portion of that debate, actually Donald Trump was doing what he has been doing on the stump for quite some time, and that is nonsensical answers. He can't stay focused. He can't stay on message. He goes off on tangents. And we really just didn't talk about it very much after that debate between Trump and Biden because we were so focused on Biden. But I think it's incumbent on us to remind folks that Trump himself didn't necessarily have a great first debate. He benefited from the fact that President Biden had a very demonstrably poor showing. So let's just remind folks where things stand. 7 debates that Donald Trump has done. He knows how this goes. This is the first one. And by the way, our vice president will be doing it in her heels. So, let's remember, she's got quite a task ahead of her. Also, this debate will have a similar format to the previous one. So each person will have 2 minutes to answer a question. They'll have roughly 2 minutes for a rebuttal, and then I think potentially a minute for a question after. That's a lot of time. And so the most important thing that the vice president needs to do is to lay out her vision for the country. And that's what I think we can expect her to do. I think the topics we're most likely to hear about will be the economy, immigration, healthcare, how to bring down inflation and costs. I think we'll probably hear at least one question on national security, foreign policy, could be a question about what's happening in the Middle East, could be about what's happening with Ukraine and Russia, could be some questions kind of holding Trump accountable for some of the more outlandish things that he said about different world leaders. And obviously reproductive rights will be a huge issue because it is a huge issue in this campaign. Those are the most likely topics I think we'll hear. Of course, there will be others. It's a 90-minute debate. So there will be others, but I would say those are likely to be the top. The other thing I suspect we will hear is some kind of a question about the withdrawal from Afghanistan. That's something that the Trump team has really been pushing for. We've been seeing that in the way they've had Tulsi Gabbard out there kind of driving their message on that. So I think it's going to be a very exciting debate. Tune in and watch. It's airing on ABC News. It will also be streaming on Hulu. It'll be streaming on other cable channels simulcast. I know I'm assuming we'll talk about there will be information going out about watch parties. We will also likely tomorrow get some additional content from the campaign that we can share with you for other points just to help lift up. And the last thing I really want to say that's so important is we know during the debate, Trump is going to be spewing lies, insults, and disinformation. And I have every confidence the vice president, she's going to be fine. She's going to handle that just fine. And I think she'll focus on prosecuting the case. But what we all need to do that is so important is pay attention to what we're seeing online. Because on social media, that's where we can all be a part of helping to stamp out the disinformation that is going to come fast and furious. We'll send around some social media channels for you to keep an eye on. Mostly I would like you to keep an eye on the campaign's social media channels because they will be doing real-time, very quick fact checks. So on different topics, you'll be able to help lift up and fact check. And I'm sure Reese will have lots of receipts for us as well. But we know that's going to be the other really important thing we can be doing Tuesday night, is trying to just push back on the negative information.
Karen, thank you always so much. And everyone, if you don't already follow Karen on all things social, please make sure you are following trusted sources like Karen Finney, and make sure on debate night to tune in, because we're sure we're going to see Karen on a major network near you giving an analysis. That's the beauty of Win with Black Women, is that the women that volunteer their time are some of the nation's far greatest analyzers, moderators, analysts, political contributors. And Karen Finney is one of the best in the land. We love you, Karen. Thank you for always giving us the message. We're going to keep moving on to this agenda. As Karen said, Reese is always going to give us the receipts. And Reese, I'm going to throw it over to you to give us some receipts. I know we've all been very busy this week making sure that we correct mis and disinformation. So I'm going to throw it over to you to share some important receipts that everyone should be aware of.
Okay, y'all, I got a little bit of time, so I'm getting my timer going. And this week, I just want to focus my receipts on childcare, because if you've heard from Trump and Vance, they have no answers, no solutions. Vance seems to think that we got grandmas and grandpas sitting around waiting to watch our kids for free, when Republicans won't let them retire until they're almost 70 years old. But the Biden-Harris record is one where they actually have tackled the cost of childcare. But first, let me set the stage by saying that Black families have the highest childcare costs, spending 56% of their income on average, while Black childcare workers are disproportionately in low-paying jobs with few benefits. Well, under this administration, the Biden-Harris administration, Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris have secured a 30% increase in childcare assistance funding in 2023, which benefited 38% of Black families. They've also increased funding for Head Start by an extra $1 billion, which impacts over 28% of Black children. The American Rescue Plan, which was a strictly partisan Democratic initiative with the Democratic Congress and the Biden-Harris signature, expanded the Child and Dependent Care Tax Credit. So they had a child tax credit that gave families $3,000 to $3,600, up from $2,000. But in addition to that, there was a child and dependent care tax credit, which allowed families with incomes of up to $125,000 to save up to 50% of child care costs. So that is a difference of being able to save $4,000 for one child versus $600 under the Trump administration, or $8,000 for two or more children under Biden-Harris, whereas they were only saving $1,200 under the Trump administration in the form of this child and dependent care tax credit. An April 2023 executive order expanded access to affordable childcare. It proposed increased wages for Head Start teachers, lowering military family costs, and capping. There's something that is it's a child care grant program, capping co-payments at 7% of the income, saving 100,000 families $200 monthly. And then lastly, I would just say that they propose investments to support 220,000 childcare providers. I have a 3-year-old in childcare, and it has been a struggle. Thank God I have a good one, but we know how important our childcare providers are. And so that investment would benefit 10 million children. And so this administration and Vice President Kamala Harris actually have receipts, and they have solutions, not rambling, not tariffs on foreign nationals like Trump was talking about, and not grandma and grandpa. So if you work in grandma and grandpa, your grandkids will be set. And guess what? They're going to protect Social Security and Medicare, so you ain't got to work till you're 70 like the Republicans want. And that's my time.
Reese, you always keep us with the receipts, and you always got your own little buzzer and timer.
I'm trying to stay on program. It's late. I know everybody want to get on.
I love it. Reese, thank you so much for all your advocacy. Y'all know how to follow Reese on all things social, because she keeps us with information and receipts. And we've heard you loud and clear. You want us to post all of Reese's receipts and recaps on the Win with Black Women page on our Instagram, where we now have over 100,000 followers, thanks to all of you all and the work we did last week. We started out with 93,000 at the start of the call, and by the end of the call, we had 100,000 followers. That's the power of Win with Black Women. Thank you all so much. Reese, thank you so much. We're going to keep going right along on our agenda because, you know, we've got to get the message right. We got to make sure we have the receipts and making sure that we are sharing all the good information. But we can't do anything if we're not organizing for the win. And I'm always so excited to bring up my sister in all things good organizing, Sister Holly Holiday.
Let me get myself off mute. All right, sisters, it's time to get information. And to make sure we are information, I have some very exciting things to share with you today. And the first thing that I want to share with you, and it is in the resource, but I am actually going to share screen because I want all of you to make sure that you know exactly how to find it. So I'm going to walk through our new updated website. If you haven't been to the Win with Black Women website, now is the time to go. I had some sound stuff for you, but sound ain't on our team this year right now, so we're going to focus on the website. So first and foremost, if you are, for whatever reason, not getting your notices, not knowing when to come to the meeting, scared you're going to miss something, there are two things you can do right at the top of our page, Black Women for the Win. Click this button, join the network. You can click it here or you can click it here. This will automatically put yourself on our mailing list to make sure you get all of the information. We want you not to miss anything. Of course, you know our network is growing and growing. We are 99,000 sisters in our network. Lifetime impressions over 250 billion. I counted everything. And of course, at the end of the day, it is one collective love. And we want to make sure that we all get in it. Well, it's election season. So y'all know we have to give you something to do. So guess what can happen right from the Win with Black Women website? You can verify your voter registration. Just click this button right here. You can register to vote. Just click this button. You can click this button and get a absentee or mail-at-home ballot. You can click this button and sign up for election reminders. And best thing of all, this is my favorite button on the page, you can click this button and get a sample ballot. And what's special about this is that this, in partnership with Sisters Lead Sisters Vote and vote.org, we can calculate exactly how many Win with Black Women actions were taken. So please feel free. This covers all 50 states, every jurisdiction. So please, please, please feel free to utilize these tools to make sure, you know, those 5 people that you're going to take to get registered, you can send them the link and say, register right here. Get your absentee ballot right here. Find out what's on your ballot right here. We can do all things. But this is probably the thing that I'm most excited to share. And it is our resource page. And you just click this little button right here. And it takes you to this page. And this is last week's call. And all of the resources that we share on our call and for the week, you can find right on our website now. So no need to email us and wait for one of our wonderful volunteers to get back to you. You can find all the information yourself, all the links that we've shared, the toolkits that we've shared, all of the reports that we've received. We even have the partisan information available for you right here. So no need to keep trying to email us and track us down, because as you know, as we are in the heat now, sometimes it's hard for us to get back to you individually. We want to make sure that you have access to all things. You know what else? You will even have access from the same page for our receipt with the receipts. Maybe you missed some. We have most of them right here. And most importantly, and best of all, there's a link right to Reese's page where you can find out even more receipts that we may not have captured. And I am really excited about that. Next up on my excitement list is As she talked about, we have so many things in, and I want to point them out to you. Of course, now I can't get my thing to lower. And one of the things I want to make sure that I'm pointing out to you is all of the fabulous things that are happening related to what's in our resource center. So please, I want you to go to your resource tab now. And in your resource tab, you're going to see a number of different things. One of the things that you're going to see in the resource tab is you're going to see first, when you go to links, you're going to see a debate party list. Yep, that's right. I put a debate party list together, and I'm really excited to note here that the debate party, we have several that are being sponsored by different groups within our Win with Black Women family. But we know we want to shout out all of the things happening from our friends, our partners, our allies. And so there is a whole list of debate watch parties. If you are in, I'm going to shout out a couple, but the list is there. If you happen to be in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote, and Win with Black Women from DC, Maryland, Virginia are gathering at the DC Debate Watch Party, which is happening at DC Square. And here's the best thing. Once you look at that link, the link to join is right there. So you can register right from the same place where I have all the things for all the debate watch parties. And that is in person. We also have a Virginia party that's happening that's virtual. There's a New York party that's happening that is going to be hybrid. We have all kinds of parties. The Brooklyn NAACP has a party in person. Lots of parties happening in New York. So we've got those all there. There's a party in Dallas that's happening that's in person. There is a party happening in Nevada that's in person. Of course, our partner at Higher Heights is hosting the virtual debate watch party for a lot of folks. There's also a Black Women for Harris debate watch party in Detroit. I'm not going to go through all of them. There are lots of them there, and we are still counting. So there should be no reason why you can't be part of a debate something somewhere and finding all the things. So once you find yourself finding all the things for the debate watch parties, we want to make sure that you also know what to do with that information. So I've got a couple of other things that I put in the chat for you. The other thing is the Project 2025. Now, this is an area where we get an insane amount of questions. And so every week I'm going to try to drop a new Project 2025 resource for you. This week from Democracy Forward, I'm dropping the People's Guide to Project 2025. Yep, it's right there in the resources for you. And following this call by tomorrow morning, it will also be on our website, so you don't have to check in with me. The other two things that I want to give, because these are questions that we get all the time. One is there is a Harris Walsh Black American fact sheet. Check that out. I got that directly from the campaign to top 2 Black voters. And so I know you all have been asking about that and wanting that. Well, guess what? It is here. And then the final thing, and then I will close out for today, and that is how to get involved. If you want to get involved with things that are happening directly with the campaign, this is in the chat for you. There is a whole page of things, whether you want a phone bank or Canvas or whatever, you can do that. But I want to also remind you that other ways for you to get involved and involve connecting with our Black women-centered organizations that are also doing work, as well as Win with Black Women volunteer groups that are happening in states all across America. And if you want to particularly find out more, about how to get involved with states, you can go right to our website, which will take you to our Monday call. Every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we are hosting the All States Organizing Call, where you can find out how to get involved in your local community. Joteka, I'm excited, but I'm done. Thank you. Now you're doing what I did.
I know you would think after 4 years I could do it without going on mute.
Me too.
You know, people often ask, well, you get on Zooms, but what are you doing? Well, there's a lot that we're doing. You could go to our website. You could join one of the more than 44 state volunteer Win with Black Women groups across the country that are organizing. And most importantly, you should be joining as many or all of the Black women-centered organizations. And we're so proud at the top of our calls every Sunday to introduce you to one of those organizations. Next week, you're going to hear from the coalition leader herself, Sister Melanie Campbell, and the Black Women's Roundtable. They're up next. So we're going to hear about how you can get involved with the power of the ballot and so much next week. But there's so much organizing. These Sunday calls are meant to bring us together, fill up our souls, inspire us, and make sure we have critical information. But we also have to do the work. So we got phone banking. We've got opportunities to do state level work, how to register voters. We've got it all for you here at Win with Black Women. Thank you so much, Sister Holly.
Awesome. I want to say two things because I'm seeing it in the chat real quick. One is our website will also have an update on events that are happening during Congressional Black Caucus. Many of them were discussed last week, but I will be updating that. So go to the resource page on the website. You'll have that soon because that is this week. For those of you who will be in town, we hope to see you. And I think there might be a little surprise for a Win with Black Women activity happening on Saturday. So you don't want to miss out on that. But of course, we'll email that to you as well. And then the second thing is I am still collecting information for Debate Watch Party. So send that information. Please don't send it to me. Send it to info@winwithblackwomen.org. That way our team of volunteers can help to make sure that we update the list. So keep checking the list. Thanks, Joteka.
Thank you so much, Holly. Yes, and keep watching your emails because there may be some special announcements coming soon. Next up is our sister who keeps us all updated with our allies, which is so important because we can't do this alone. Let's bring up our good sister, Chantel Mullen. What's going on in the world of allies and friends, Chantel? I think Chantel is about to come on with us very shortly. Well, I think I see her backstage. Chantel, are you still with us? There she goes.
I am here. My Zoom just restarted. Oh, we are having all the wonderful, magical things happening tonight. I have some exciting updates to talk about on this Zoom. So on the organizing call. So let's go. Let's go and see what we have happening. So y'all, we still organizing. We're still out here in the Zoom streets having a really good time. So coming up tomorrow, Silas and Barbara's, Beyonce's mama is going to be there. I heard lots of people were interested in this. Y'all were sending me DMs saying, can you post the link? As always, I will post the links to all of these organizing calls after the meeting in the Win with Black Women Facebook page and on Twitter. And so you'll be able to find them there. We've got the Poets for Harris coming up. The one that I will be at with bells and whistles is going to be Geeks and Nerds for Harris. They got LeVar Burton there. Sesame Street, the Reading Rainbow. I'm going to be right in there saying hey to my boy. We've also got Founders for Kamala, and this is a new group. They are using their Zoom call to take it to the next level. They're actually starting to plan a bunch of meetings. And so they're going to have a do something day coming up. So they're working on that. We've still got our Black Voters for Harris. They hold a weekly call, and it's on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have Women Wednesdays, another weekly Zoom call, And they do that at 8:30 p.m. on each Wednesday. Another one that I'm really excited about that's coming up are the Adventurers for Harris. This is an interactive live role-playing game that's coming up. And so, they had this thing where the first 500 people to donate got to play in the game. Well, those 500 spots are gone. Went just like that. We also have the people on Broadway who are organizing for Harris. And what I think is really great in how they're using their Zoom calls, they're organizing phone banks. So they'll be phone banking over their Zoom, and they're also organizing caravans so they can caravan and go door knock. And so they're doing a on the Zoom and in person. So people are really starting to get creative with how they're using their Zoom calls to organize people. These were some calls that actually happened today before this call. So we had this group, which are the Italians. They had a Sunday dinner. There was an economic call that happened a little earlier tonight at 6 o'clock. Also happening at 5 o'clock today was a seniors and young voters call for Harris. And then we had a Kamala call that happened today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I caught the end of that one, and that one was pretty exciting. And so, people are really out here being creative. Want you to save the date because we are organizing for Harris. I don't know if you can hear the sound, but we're still having sound issues. But just know that we are dancing and keeping it going over here. So save that date. And you know what? A little birdie told me that if y'all keep an eye on the news tomorrow, there might be something dropping around lunchtime. So just keep an eye out because I heard it might be some exciting news about this unity call. So just a reminder, last reminder, we have the Win with Black Women shop. We've got new merchandise dropping every week. We got some kids merch that just dropped. We got new shirts, new styles dropping every week. And then lastly, remember to follow Win with Black Women on all social media channels. That, Joteka, is what's happening out in these Zoom streets.
Well, Zoom streets are just a Zooming, my sisters.
They are.
Yes, you all, please make sure you're tuning into the news because we have some big news that will be dropping tomorrow. So excited about that. The Zoom streets keep zooming. Now, we have come to the end of our agenda, but this is very important. So excited to make sure that not only are we zooming in these streets, but we are on social media. Holly Weeks, over to you.
So hey everyone, I am Holly Weeks and I'll be giving you the social media report. And yeah, we are still having a couple of sound issues, but we're going to try to see if all the sounds do work out once I get to those parts of the presentation. But this is our social media report and we are going to go into it. And boom, there we go. So as you see, the Women Black Women hashtag has 819.8K impressions. It has been used that much within the week. And the One Voice, One Fight, which we use every single week to log into the Women Black Women platform, has 59K views in its impressions. When it comes to followers, again, like Joseka said, we have 100K followers on Instagram. We have 28.3K followers on Twitter/X. Our Facebook group and the Facebook following has 74.9K followers, and our threads has 17.6K followers. Now, the big thing that people come in here for is for our social media toolkit, and the social media toolkit is in our resources. So you should be able to see that there, and everything clicks so we can download it. We even have videos and photos for some of the things, but the big thing is save the date This Tuesday, we all know it's all been talked about, the presidential debate, and we are asking you to support in these 3 ways as listed on here. But the 3 key objectives for this week for our social media plan is to plan your vote, the 2024 presidential debate, and building a better tomorrow, which is something that Kamala Harris has really talked about during her time. The next thing that we want to discuss is, hopefully this video works, and I did check this time and double checked with the DMs that she is here, and this is a video of her being on the call with her kid. We love it because this is Black women being Black women, and I'm seeing that didn't work, so let me reshare screens to see if that will work this time, because we want to make sure that the video works. Here we go. Let's do it this way. Just trying to make sure that we actually get it right, because we want to make sure that they get all of the shine they can get. Here we go. So this is the video. Let's see if we actually have any sound. So yes, I do know that there is no sound, but I did want to at least show the video so everyone could see the video and see how cute she is with her and her child. And she is on the call, so everyone please give her hearts. And if she's there, she say hey to everybody. And the last thing, as you know, is to make sure that you follow us on all of the social media platforms. And that is the end of my report, Joteka. I really tried to get the sound to work. The mom is on the call. You saw how cute she is. We have all the way from like little babies to people like Mama Dukes on this call. So we're out here.
Such a blessing. I think we're going from baby to Mama Dukes is such a wide array. And Mama, thank you so much for just leading and bringing your baby girl with us and having her right there. And I think that speaks volumes to so many women. We've seen that there's so many of you reach out and say that your families watch with us, your daughters, your sons, your loved ones watch, your spouses are watching with us. And I think it's just so powerful. And someone said, could you please put all the social media platforms back up? If you go to the resource guide or if you go to the website, you can find all of that information at www.winwithblackwomen.org. You can find everything there. Sisters, we have come to the time for us to end this call. And as you know, we end in the spirit, and then we immediately go into after hours where a few of the sisters who've been on the call are able to chat a bit. And we actually have a very special treat because someone has agreed to close us in the spirit, who we always love hearing from, none other than the sage and wise Dr. Janetta Besh Cole. As we're waiting for Dr. Cole to come up and close us out tonight, I did want to highlight 2 announcements and shout outs. Shout out to the amazing Donna Brazil, who has an column that is dropping in the New York Times at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So make sure you look for Donna Brazil's column and please share it widely. And also, you'll probably see in the chat as well an announcement for an amazing event with Secretary Hillary Clinton and who we are claiming as Maryland's next senator, our good sister, Sister Angela Alsobrooks. There's information for those of you who live in the Washington, D.C. area, or if you're going to be here for CBC, an opportunity for you to participate in this event, which is taking place in Maryland with Angela Alsobrooks, candidate for Senate in the state of Maryland, and former Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton. We are so grateful. We'll keep giving you more and more updates. Go to our website and our resource. And now I turn it over to Dr. Janetta Besh-Cole to close us in the spirit.
My sisters, let us come together in the spirit. And I ask that each of you take your hands and arms, wrap them around yourself, and feel first the love of God, our God, the only God. And I ask that you feel in this embrace the unquestionable power that our God has given to us as Black women. We are the women who have been called at this unusual, never before moment in the history, her story, their story of our world, to play a powerful role. Yes, we are women of faith, but oh, as we know, in the great book of James, chapters 14 through 26, it is my favorite set of chapters. It says at a given point, faith without work is dead. And so we Black women, so deeply centered in our faith in you, God, we know that we've also got to do this work. We must, with every inch of our being, understand how important this work is that you've called us to do right now. Right now. And until that day comes in a matter of a short time, when all of God's children will rejoice, because the work you have called us to do will have been done so well, so completely, that yes, for the first time ever in the history of our nation, it will be led. It will be led. It will be led by a Black woman. And so now, as we formally part, dear God, to go into our after session, come with us. Be with us. Give us the insight. Give us the wisdom. Give us the fortitude to stay the course, to do the work. It is all to be done in the precious name of the one who loves us. Amen, a women, and Ashe.
Amen, a women, and Ashe. Dr. Cole, thank you. And I am going to say this and let the record be clear. This is a space of love, and this is a space of unity. It has been a sacred space for the last 4 years. And for those of you who we have most graciously opened up a space that has been so closed but sacred for the last 4 years, and our loving hearts to open for all of you to join. But for those of you who want to come and try to distract, to try to use ugly words, divisiveness, let me let you know one thing. It's not going to work. We're not going to be broken. Black women, for far too long, we have stood the test of time. So your dirty words in our chat, your divisiveness in our chat, it's not going to steer us from doing what we know that we were born to do, which is to lead with love and grace and with the heart and the fortitude that women like Dr. Hazel and Dupes and Dr. Janetta Besh Cole has taught us to be. So you can come into our very welcome and open house with your ugly words, and we will remove you. But just know that you can say what you want to say, but we're just going to keep on doing the work. And we bid you a good night, and we wish you the best. And as my grandmama would say,